We are live. We are back. What is going on, D-Bags? I hope you guys are all doing well. I'm back at you guys again with another episode, the 82nd episode of the Detox Podcast. To be specific, I'm your host, Darren Rita. Feel free to connect with me down below at any of those links. And if you're new here and you enjoy music, podcasts, or comedy, do consider subscribing because we do a whole lot of that here. And we're almost to 700 subscribers, so we're trying to do that. I shouldn't say almost. I guess I should use that term loosely. We're only like 6 and some change, but I appreciate it, every single one of you guys, and we're going to get into that a little later. Before I get into the episode, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about car insurance. These days, it seems as if we're able to do more and more from home. So while you're at home, why aren't you saving money on your car insurance? Your hometown agency, Kenosha Auto Insurance, has specialized for years in simple, hassle-free car insurance using the latest in touch-free technology to get the best rates for you and your family. So what are you waiting for? Give them a call today at 262-448-4141. That's 448-4141. And the website is kenoshains.com. It's on the screen right now. Below me. One last time. That's 262-448-4141. Give them a call. Tell them Detox, Darren Rita sent you. The worst that could happen is you will get the best rates. And also want to say quick shout before we get in. Quick shout out to those listening on Spotify. I know when I say stuff about the screen or whatever else, you may or may not be confused. To those watching now live, if you do hear a voice and you're like wondering where that's coming from,
hello,
a secondary voice, that's McKenna. McKenna's hanging out with me today.
Howdy.
She's behind the screen. She's mic'd up. I sadly was not able. I had my guest all lined up for this week. Good friend of mine, one of your guys' favorite guests of last year, Jonathan Mendez, the formerly Twitter famous Jonathan Mendez. We were gonna kick it today and talk about DBZ, as well as I'm sure a variety of other topics that I had sort of planned out. And he couldn't make it due to weather restraints and whatnot. And that's totally fine, totally reasonable. It's disappointing because I wanted to give you guys the episode, but he will be back eventually, and I've got a gift to give him. So when he does come on the show, Jonathan, just so you know, it's all love here. We can't wait for you to be back on, and I'm looking forward to giving you a little gift for coming on the show. But with all that being said, we got some things to cover. I'm sure if you clicked, you saw the title, you read the title. We got some stuff with Jojo, Siwa, Conor McGregor. If you're not a big nerd like myself, then you're not maybe aware of WandaVision and the craziness that's going on right now with the MCU and everything. But we'll get into all that in a little bit. I want to also hear from you guys who are listening and watching live. Again, apologize to those listening on Spotify. I really do appreciate those that go and check it out on Spotify. I sometimes like to listen to them back on Spotify when I'm doing prep for newer episodes to kind of just see where I can grow and things like that. And I really appreciate that some people, I just think it's cool. Some people prefer the audio. So I want to say thank you. And I don't forget you guys. I know I try to make a point every podcast to acknowledge you. But for those of us that are going to be hanging out in the chat, I'll probably repeat this a couple of times because people come in and out as we're live. Feel free to let me know what you guys have been up to, what you've been doing. I want to hear from you guys. This is an open conversation. Obviously, not having a guest here today, I want to hear from you guys as well. So feel free to chime in on anything, any of the takes that I'm giving. No, Jonathan, Kevin says. Yeah, that's what I just went through. Probably just joined in. He things come up. Weather and whatnot, couldn't make it out here. But the show must still go on, right? We're still here doing it. Kevin, I hope you're doing well. Feel free, like I just said, talk to me, give your opinion on any of these things that come up during the show. But so first thing we're gonna get into is the fact that Jojo Siwa came out as gay. Now, I would not say that it was like necessarily shocking to me personally, but I think some people making it a big deal in a negative sense was. I know there's a ton of people celebrating it. It's mostly very widely celebrated. But you do have these people that are like upset that this icon to children just comes out as gay. Like she's not allowed to do what she needs to do for herself. And I think that's a little ridiculous. But that's not really what I wanted to talk about with this whole situation. what I think is a little bit more interesting, with all due respect to her coming as a huge thing for her, she was swatted like not so long after. I was trying to look it up and I couldn't really. Any of the articles I was reading didn't really say if it was like hours. It sounded like one of them said it sounded like it was hours after she announced it on like a live video or whatever video. And then another one said that it was like the next day, so I wasn't really 100% sure on the timeline. But basically, somebody swatted her, which is when when someone's able to figure out your address as like a famous person or even a non-famous person, and they basically make it seem like there is this ridiculous threat at your house that needs to be dealt with. So then, not only police officers, but sometimes the FBI and full SWAT teams come with tons of guns, and a lot people can get hurt when you do this. What happens is someone will get swatted and not understand what's going on, think that they're getting attacked by whoever is there, and it's actually the police, and then the police think that this is the bad person that they got the call for, and then conflict ensues and someone is shot and hurt, or vice versa. Obviously, it didn't happen with Jojo. She's all good. I just think the phenomenon of swatting is really gross, and I don't know where that stems from, like who was the first person to like be swatted like that. But I know it happens to a lot of internet personalities. I know it's happened to someone that I'm a big fan of, the H3 podcast, and that it really scares me a little bit too with the way I run my podcast. I have people here as many weeks as I can, and when you have people doing stuff like that, that's scary.
That's really scary.
Yeah, I mean that's like part of the reason that I've had to like put more of a vetting process in, like, and I can't even say it's that rigorous to get on this show, but there's more of I have to like kind of sift through the people that want to be on, because of shit like that. I got to give people my home address, and sometimes it's crazy. Sometimes, and I know people probably don't. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't get this. Sometimes when I sit across from somebody, it's the first time that I've ever sat down with them in my whole life. And they are not only coming to my real home, but down in like my basement and whatever. And it's just it's very like funny but intimate setting, and they know my they know my address. They had to get here. I wasn't gonna go pick them up with a bag over their head in a van and bring them over here. Like, so that's kind of crazy to think about, that people really go out of their way to potentially cause people harm. That just scares me. I couldn't imagine, and obviously I'm in no position to like. I don't think anybody would be swatting me right now with 600 followers or subscribers. But it's just interesting to think about, especially when this is like something I obviously really want to do. Is this, and the potential for that is just kind of a little scary. I mean, what would you do if like we were just I just got off Instagram Live, was talking with some fans, or maybe I'm in the middle of building a set one of these days, because now we're gonna start doing that more and more, and somebody, all of a sudden there's not one cop, not a couple of cops, a whole fucking SWAT team, with assault rifles and shit ready to bust down the door shows up, like that.
Well, yeah,
that's terrifying.
I get how people can get hurt and stuff, because that's like super scary. You're panicking.
Because you don't. The thing is, when you get swatted, is you don't know what's going on. You don't know why they're there. You think you're being attacked. They think that someone has already come in and attacked your house, and that you being freaking out and whatnot are that person. And then so it's like,
it's trippy.
It's scary. It was in a movie too. What movie? It was that Unfriended movie.
No.
It was like the whole movie that's over like a FaceTime.
Oh.
Like all those kids are on FaceTime. So there's like a second one, and it's like Unfriended, the dark web. And I will say I think that one might have been better actually than the first one, because those movies didn't do very well. But I thought it was an interesting concept. It was kind of fun. Basically in the second one, where it's like a totally different group of people and whatnot, this guy stole a laptop and or he got it out of like the lost and found of this cafe, and basically somebody from like this like community in this dark web like had set that there, knowing like hoping for someone would take it so that they could fuck with these people. And one of the things that would like basically each person in this like FaceTime call like slow, like each person dies like eventually as the movie keeps going on. Spoiler alert. It's a horror movie, so I hope you guys will be able to figure that out. But as it goes on, more and more people die, and one of the ways that one of the people is killed is that the people that were hacking them like through the dark web swatted them, were able to figure out one of the people's home address, got the FBI and whole SWAT team to come to their house ready to disarm a threat. And then they were also able to like hack into like, I don't know what year the movie came out, so I don't know if it was like Amazon Echoes or like what it was, like an Alexa or whatever, but like basically hacked into like his sound system so to like play a gun loading.
Oh my god.
So then the police just unloaded and fucking smoked this dude. It's a movie. This is obviously fake, but it's crazy to think about when you have people like Jojo Siwa getting swatted, or people like H3 getting swatted, and just people that for just having like an influence. So like obviously it could happen to anybody, and that's kind of why you got to keep your information a little under wraps. But I just, whenever I hear stories like that, it freaks me out a little bit, because I obviously have to give up a little bit of personal information to have people come on the show. And like I was just explaining for some of those people that just joined in live, I sometimes when I sit down with people here, it's the first time that I've ever sat down with them. So it's just a little crazy. And feel free to, I know some new people just jumped in the chat. If you have an opinion on anything that we're talking, whatever. Guest Jonathan Mendez couldn't make it tonight, so we're kind of having an open conversation here. I'm gonna be kind of covering a couple of things here that in the news, giving my takes on them. Love to hear your guys' responses and takes as well. So feel free to jump in and interject at any point in time. So yeah, Jojo Siwa comes out as gay and then gets swatted. Just kind of scary, just very scary stuff. The whole idea of being swatted is very scary for anybody. I mean, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I don't know what you guys think about it, but in lighter news, I guess, Olivia Rodrigo and Driver's License is the biggest song. She has the biggest song in the world right now, Driver's License. She like broke the all-time single day release record for Spotify, and then broke that record the next day. So she's doing all right.
I don't even get, like, how did it blow up? Just on TikTok?
Yeah, it did. It blew up from
people,
TikTok
like,
and YouTube. The video was good. It's funny. I saw the video on because I've said this before on the podcast. My primary social media that I check is YouTube, which is kind of weird. I know it's not really, like, some people don't really consider it like a social media, but like I have like all my subscribers or the people I follow, and also I like to respond to all of my comments that I get from other people, and so like it's like the first thing that I check every day. And I saw this like when I was on my way to work, and it says like it's like Olivia Rodrigo Driver's License got like 100,000 plays or whatever on YouTube, and I was like, okay, I'll check that out later. Like, whatever. I get off work, it's at like 20 million views on YouTube, and I'm like, oh shit, this must be good. I don't even know who this person is. And yeah, his song is good. A lot of people are hating on it. A lot of people are giving it some hate. I know you said you didn't like it.
Yeah, I just think it's like kind of cheesy and.
But that's pop music.
I know.
It's good.
It's just like cheesy and sad and.
I think it's good. I think it's got some like some qualities that you can kind of take some away from it.
I guess I haven't really listened to the whole thing.
You haven't listened to the whole thing?
I only hear it on like TikTok and stuff.
Oh yeah, see, well no, I think the song is good. I think she's really talented. I mean, she's got a good voice and the video is good. But yeah, it's just funny how like people are that. What I kind of wanted to talk about with it was, McKenna, I know you sing to that shit. Jake Raymond says that. My whole thing is, I don't really give a fuck like necessarily about this song in specific, but I just think it's very interesting, and I've talked about it a bunch of times on this podcast. I talked about it with a guy who ran a music page however many weeks ago when we had Find New Vibes on the show. It just cracks me up how much people hate popular music. Like they just like get really mad that this is popular, and like I do it myself too. But I wonder why is that? Like why do we get so mad? Is it a jealousy thing? Because a lot of people like I could see it for me. Maybe it's a jealousy thing. You know, maybe I'm mad when like 6ix9ine is you guys want to keep streaming 6ix9ine's garbage music. Because I'm like, damn, I'm putting everything I got into this shit, and that's what's blowing up. So like maybe for someone like me who is an artist, I could see how it's a jealousy thing. But the majority of people don't want to be musicians, and yet we still have so much hate for like people like Olivia Rodrigo, who are making a great song, like a catchy little jingle song.
I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to it.
And that's different. When people go out of their way to
And I'm not,
dislike a video on YouTube,
Yeah, I'm not disliking it. I'm not leaving hate comments. Like,
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Yeah. Well, see, like I just think it's weird when people will be like, "Oh, it's just so cheesy," or "It's so like
Okay,
corny," like you were saying. Because I just think because it's like, it's relatable, you know, like any quote that like you take out of context, like you could just say it, oh that's cheesy, but like okay, but it's like applicable, or else it wouldn't have caught on. It wouldn't still be a thing. So that's I'm just always weird about it, and it's not to say that I'm above it, because like I just said with 6ix9ine, same thing happens. I think low-key people are embarrassed to listen to mainstream and embarrassed to listen to people that aren't really known also. See, I think I definitely agree with the first thing Jake's saying there in the comments. But I think that is like 100% true, is that like people they want to think that they're above it, right? That's just what I don't understand why everybody's blah 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 blah, like I'm whatever. And again, I think we're all guilty of it, myself included. But I will disagree with the second one. I think people love listening to shit that nobody knows about. I think it's like more so other forms of media that maybe people are a little bit embarrassed about. But like I know from personal experience and like other people, like how many times have you like heard a song and you're like you heard that song before it blew up, or you showed it to your friends, and then that shit's like on the radio like a couple months later, and you're like, dude, I told you guys about that. Everyone's jamming to it now, and you're like, bro, I've been here the whole time. What the fuck? You know, and everyone's like, oh, this is my favorite song. I had this happen with Childish Gambino. Loved Childish Gambino. Loved all his early stuff. Loved Camp. Me and one of my friends from high school, we'll be playing his shit all the time when we would hang out. Like early, like my freshman year and whatever. And he was not like some underground artist. Like he had a song on the radio and everything, but like people didn't listen to him like that. Then I remember playing him in my car, and we were hanging out with some people, and these two girls were in the back seat, and they were like, this is garbage. What is this? Like, what are we listening to? Like, Chain, blah, 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 blah. I think it was like around the time Big Sean's like, I Don't Fuck With You was like the biggest song. So that's all they wanted to hear. Okay, whatever, we'll turn it on. Literally a week later, once like he started promoting his new project, Kawhi, they're listening to Sober in the hallway. They're listening to Retro. If you guys follow Childish Gambino, this is what happens. So it blows my mind when people do that as well. But I think we get a lot of joy out of showing people but I recognize that some don't give it a chance because they aren't known. That's true too.
Yeah.
That is 100% true. I see that now even with the channel. Like it's when you don't have like, and I do it too. That's the thing with like all these things I'm bringing up. Like they suck, but like we all do it, you know. If someone's like, dude, this guy's channel, like you gotta subscribe to my boy, like he's whatever, he's putting out really good shit, and like I haven't like watched any videos, I just click the profile and I see he's only got 200 subs. I'm like, I don't know, man, why he's only got 200 subs? Like, he's been doing it for however long, or she's been doing it for however long, like how do I know, right? And then as they get more, you feel like it's safer when more people like it. And we've had that same thing happen on the channel now, where I have like highlights from months ago catching a couple thousand views and out of nowhere, and now we're gaining a couple subscribers a day, like because people are like, oh, is that 600? Like that's not as bad as 200 or 100 or whatever it was. And it's just funny to me that it's like it's the same thing with music too, where, well, I've never heard of so and so, and I don't like, because you don't want to be that person to go out on a limb, think something is good, and then everyone clown you for thinking it's good. And I know how that is, because I like some people that are very much hated. which is it's just interesting. It kind of sucks sometimes, but I think we gotta all like what we gotta like what we like and try and spread that. And if other people dislike it, that's fine. That's what art is, right? But it's crazy. You guys know that Olivia Rodrigo is from Disney Channel, not technically Disney Channel, but like Disney Plus. She's on like the High School Musical, the High School Musical series.
Yeah, isn't it like a musical?
I think it's like a musical. Yeah, it's like I haven't watched it, but apparently because I was trying to like figure out like where the fuck is this? Where is she from? Like how did she just come out of nowhere? Because I did the same thing. I don't know. I wasn't some early adopter of Billie Eilish. Like I heard Billie Eilish when most other people heard Billie Eilish, when Bad Guy and shit, like when she blew up, and I was like, who the fuck is this? And I went back and okay, you can see like the whole trail with Olivia Rodrigo. Like she was on the show and boom, she just like did the thing. And now she's huge, and now everyone's like trying to figure out who the song is about. And apparently she's got like a love triangle with some other famous people. So,
no.
And that's what they think it's about. I don't know. I don't really care. I just know the song is good, and people got to stop hating pop music just because it's popular. I think it's corny. Don't do that. We're all above that.
But also, if you don't like it, stick with it.
But if you truly don't like it, I just know like I was like that. I in high school too, especially, or even growing up, I was so weird. I know like I had like, like when I don't know. Well, you've joked on this podcast before that you peaked in 8th grade as a joke. I feel like you have like really good years and really bad years, like just in life in general, right?
Yeah.
And so like for me, like when I in like grade school, I felt like a lot of the grade school shit like that came out was like so hype.
Yeah.
Like 6th, 7th, even a little bit of 8th grade. Then like my freshman year of high school, hated all popular music. I was like, nah, this shit's whack. Like I only listen to all underground hip hop, all that kind of shit, like Hobson and Tech Nine and all this whatever. And I would literally, even Drake songs that I had bought on iTunes back when you had to buy shit on iTunes, I would skip them because I was like, no, I don't listen to Drake. I don't listen to whatever. I thought it was too cool. And people do that because I know I fucking did it, And I'm the biggest like Drake fan of all time. Like I literally advocate for Drake every week on this podcast when someone comes on here and says some shit about him being corny or whatever. I'm like, dude, it's popular for a reason. Like it's popular for a reason. So yeah, I don't know. We all do that, but kind of on the same topic, along the lines of music, Trump, before he got out, pardoned, and this is not going to be political at all. This is more about like the idea of freeing and wanting these people freed that are bad people. So Kodak and Lil Wayne, I haven't really looked into 100% of what he was, alleged, what he had going on and whatnot. But like, it's so weird to me that there's this weird culture around like freeing bad rappers. Like, I'm not saying Kodak's music is bad, and I'm not saying someone like YNW Melly or Tay-K, these people that people really want. Dude Domino by Jesse J was my shit in 5th grade. Yeah, Steve's got him, man. Dude. You know what else? We'll get into some grade school jams here in a second. I'm gonna write that down so we get into that shit. Grade school fucking jams, so I don't forget that. But I want to talk about this for a second. I think it's so weird, and I might be, maybe I'm on the minority on this one, but I don't understand, and I've said it a bunch of times on this podcast, why we are rooting for people to get out of jail, like to avoid consequences for doing fucked up things, like truly fucked up things. Like, people want YNW Melly to be freed. It's like everyone's like, oh, free my boy.
What do you do?
What did YNW Melly do?
Yeah.
So have you heard any of his songs?
Probably.
He's the guy who did the Murder on My Mind song.
Oh, yeah.
I mean to shoot him.
Like
right?
His friend or something.
He killed his best friend. And like drove around with him for like 2 days in his fucking trunk. Wrote a hit song about it.
Probably smelled.
Dude. And people are like, free this man, bro. I want that new YNW Melly track, bro. He can record in jail. They let people record in jail. Fuck him. He needs to be in jail. That's fucking terrible. Like, that's not, there's no way around that. That is not cool. That is not good. That is not the kind of person that I want to free. Right? And so it just like blows my mind that like these are the people we're rooting for. It cracks me up. Or Tay-K. Like, I'm not going to discredit the legendary status of him filming a music video about like being on the run for killing people. and like the music video like was being filmed while they were actually like on the run from the police, like in a like
Oh my god.
that's badass. It's fucking disgusting, but I mean like that's crazy to have accomplished that. But when people are like, oh, free take, free whatever, bro, fuck you. Fuck you. Say that to the fucking family members of the person that dude just fucking murdered. Free take, because we like his mediocre music. Get the fuck out of my face, dude. It's a joke. That's a joke and a half to want these people to be free just because you like their music, some of which, you know, questionable taste. It really sucked with the YNW Melly thing because I heard this song with him and Kanye called Mixed Personalities. That was my first like introduction to him.
Oh yeah, I know that song.
I fucked with that song a ton. He had a cool voice. The melodies were crazy. And then when I listened to the other shit like Murder on My Mind, all these other things, I was like, wow, this dude's like really got some shit. And then I found out that Murder on My Mind was based off of fucking true events that he did. I don't want dude out of jail. Are you kidding me? And like with Kodak, it like everybody wanted like I'm all cool. I'm cool with someone like Meek Mill, right? Meek Mill did some fucked up shit when he was younger. He was on probation for however many fucking years, and then like I think they found like someone either planted or they found whatever marijuana or something on him later. Okay. If you want him free Meek. He's not a terrible human being. He's working really hard for like prison reform in Philadelphia, like all these things. Like he's a good dude. What the fuck is Kodak doing? I got his shit pulled up right here. Kodak Black was placed into a youth detention center 3 times in 1 year, then placed on probation. All right. This was looks like it was in 2015. Yep. He was arrested and charged with robbery, battery, and false imprisonment of a child. And in case you don't know what that is, because I didn't know what it was either, false imprisonment of a child, I had to look that one up. I'm sorry, I'm not an educator. We were talking last week with Joey about him wanting to be a lawyer. I didn't want to be a lawyer. I didn't know these terms. I had to look that up. That means he was keeping a child captive. He had a child in a confined space. It's like, well, it's not technically kidnapping. It's like child abuse and like it's like putting a kid in a cage basically. But not that he put him in a.
Does he have kids?
I don't know. I mean, if you want, you can look that up quick if he has children. But I don't think that changes the fact that whether it was his kid or not, the fact that a kid was being imprisoned is pretty disgusting. And this is somebody that, again, people free my guy. Right. So that happened. But okay, that happened in 2015. He's grown. In 2016, April of 2016, he was charged again with possession of a weapon as a convicted felon, possession with marijuana, and then fleeing from police officers. So, the marijuana thing is whatever, but again, you're on probation, so it's like the same thing with Meek. Like, people, whatever, had feelings about that. The following May of 2016, or in 2016, he was arrested and charged with armed robbery and false imprisonment. So it's like, again, dude, you're robbing people. Like, you are doing bad things. It's not like you just, like, made a mistake. It's not like oops, I got caught smoking some weed. Oops, I like to do drugs. Like, I got a problem. No, you got a problem with doing really bad shit to other people. And then, like, you make music that people like, so we're going to look past it. I think that's pretty fucked up. And I don't stand for it. It's funny, actually, when my friend Tim and I, for his 18th birthday, I got us tickets to go see, if you guys remember the guy who made the Panda song that was huge in 2017 or 2016, Designer. That was Tim's favorite artist. I don't know if it still is his favorite artist. We'd have to ask him, but that was his favorite artist at the time. And so I was like, okay, I think I could probably swing some tickets for that. It's not super expensive, and it was okay. It was like, I think it was. It cost us like in total like 80 or 90. No, yeah, $80 I think for both of our tickets or whatever. So it's not terrible, like $40. And we went to go see him. And the 2 guys that opened from him, we saw him in Milwaukee. And the 2 guys that opened from him were from Milwaukee. And the second dude that came up on stage was like, "Yo, I need everybody to scream. We're gonna get the video out right now." He was like in the middle of his set, and he's like, "I need everybody to scream for me. Free my guy, so and so." And everyone's like, "Free so and so." And then one dude in the crowd's like quiet for a second, and one dude in the crowd's like, "Wait, what he do?" And dude doesn't respond. Like, he's like looked straight at the guy like, all right, thank you, everybody. It's been great. It's been great, Milwaukee. And they're like, wait, what the fuck? Who are we just cheering for? Like, what did this guy do? And it's like, not to say, like, I don't mean that if a rapper or anybody, not just your favorite rapper, anybody is like, you know, charged with something that's bogus, arrested for something that's bogus, we don't want them to sit in jail for that. Absolutely, we want, you know, them to be freed. But when someone like YNW Melly is straight up killing people, TK's killing people, and Kodak is, you know, imprisoning a child, I don't think we should root for these people to be freed for no reason. They have no redemption. Like, what redemption have they had? What arc have they gone on that, you know, I don't know. Am I off here, McKenna? Am I really off?
No.
No.
I think you're pretty spot on. I think that's kind of fucked up. But Kodak Black does have a son.
Okay.
His name is King Khalid or Khalid, however you want to say it. His name is King, and then
King. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I hope it wasn't his kid that he was.
But I mean, what would be worse if it was his kid or someone else's kid that he fucking did that to?
I don't know.
Like, that's something to think. I don't know. It's crazy to me. It just blows my mind. Maybe if anyone has an idea, I know I kind of just went for a rant there. If anybody watching live has an idea of why it is we root for these people that are very blatantly not great, I'd love to know. I'd love to know your opinions, your thoughts, and if I'm wrong, tell me. I'm curious to know how and why. But Conor McGregor, he got fucked. He got absolutely destroyed in his most recent fight. And I'm not a big MMA guy, right? I'm not a big fighter kind of guy. I'm not in love with watching MMA. I'm getting into boxing a little bit more, watching some of that and stuff. But and I think the YouTuber boxing thing is entertaining. It's not as high quality necessarily, but some of the guys are getting good. But what I want to talk about the Conor fight is the fact that he lost. If you guys think the fight between him and Jake Paul might still happen, I don't know. I know that Jake was clowning him on social media, but I will be curious to see how that fight would go. Conor did what he went several rounds with Floyd Mayweather. Obviously I can't remember if he bulked up for that fight or if he had to try and slim down for it. I think he was trying to slim down for it. Again, I don't follow fights like that, so forgive me for my ignorance on that. And this kind of got shoehorned into the lineup today because I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about it. But I think that's interesting, and I'd like to know what you guys think. So either if you're listening to this the day after, you know, or watching this, let me know in the comments. If you're in the live chat, I'd love to hear if you guys think they should fight. Conor was not ready for that fight. Dustin had a great strategy to wear him down, and it worked perfectly. Yeah, he did explain that in the post. I did get a chance to watch some of the post stuff, post-fight interviews and whatnot. He was explaining like they had a clear vision was to not try and just straight up box him when they got in there, and it was to, you know, take down his legs and tire him out, and right away they started. He did that, and yeah, it didn't end well. It's crazy. It's so fun. It's crazy in fighting where it's like so hard to, like, other than like when fights go to decision, which is then like kind of boring. It's so funny that it's like if someone gets knocked out or knocked out, like everyone just thinks they're done, they're over, their life is over. Like, don't get me wrong, it's fucking hella embarrassing.
Did he get knocked out?
Conor McGregor, yeah. He got knocked the fuck.
So
I mean,
he won the title before, right? And
he's really good. He's won a lot of things. He's a very talented fighter and great marketing. Like, he's got his own whiskey. He's
a lot skinnier than I thought he was.
Well, he goes like up and down in weight depending on who he's fighting. So that kind of stuff is very important with fighting. If Conor and Jake Paul fought, I honestly think Conor would wipe the floor with him. Dude, I hope so, because I'm not a big Jake Paul fan. I can't lie. I don't really like the dude. I'm a big Cody Ko guy. So
is Jake Paul into fighting now?
They're both of them. So Logan Paul did it first, and to my knowledge, he did it first, and him and KSI fought, and then like they fucking like tied. So KSI fought some other guy, and it was like the first ever like YouTube boxing thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they just like declared KSI like the YouTube boxing champ, and like made up a thing for it. And then he was like saying like he would fight anybody, any YouTuber or whatever, and it was like they're gonna do their own like boxing like league type thing. And it, I mean, kind of successful. I mean, not kind of, very successful, because they made a fuck ton of money. And so then him and Logan fought, and it was a huge deal. And I think Jake was on the undercard of that fight. He fought some trash guy. I can't remember if he was on that one or the second fight, but he fought somebody that was not very good. Who was? Oh, it was Deji. So KSI has a little brother. So it was like two brothers, right? And
Oh,
they're
that's
from the
funny.
UK, and the Paul brothers from the US. So it was cool. And they fought and they tied on the first one. Then they did the second one. And Jake Paul, by the way, beat Deji. He beat him, I think, pretty easily. And Logan and KSI tied, and then they fought a second time, and then KSI won.
I think Logan and Jake should fight now.
Logan Paul and Jake Paul. I don't know if that would be. I don't know if that would make sense
isn't
for
Logan
them.
like way bigger than?
He is
Jake?
bigger. Well, that's Logan Paul's got to fight with Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, that's.
If Floyd
That's
Mayweather's, I mean, Floyd is gonna win. I know he's gonna win, and if he doesn't win, then I don't know what the world is anymore. I really don't, because I wanted Nate Robinson to win when he was fighting Jake, and that didn't happen. And yeah, so I don't know, but yeah, so Jake fought Nate on the undercard of the Mike Tyson fight, and now he thinks he's like the fucking man of the world. Which, granted, if I won that fight in that way too, I guess I probably would as well. I can't really blame him for that, but yeah. So basically, they've this whole YouTube boxing thing has become a very big thing, and they make a lot of money, and it's entertaining. It's fun to watch. So can't blame him for it. But I think Conor would win. I hope he'd win. If I don't know, man. I really hope he would. I don't want. I don't know. Maybe should I be rooting for Jake? Because I'm a YouTuber? I don't know. It's like,
No.
he's a douchebag. Like, I hate him. Like, even, like, Logan Paul has, like, at least grown. Like, the dude is, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. The whole Suicide Forest thing was very fucked up. But, like, he is definitely, like, he raised a fuck ton of money for suicide awareness after that. He's not done anything like that since. He's been, no, don't root for Jake. Okay, okay. See, I just needed some confirmation there. Exactly. Yeah, he's like grown a whole lot, and I think that's even shown in the fact that like he's the one who's getting a fight with Floyd Mayweather, and Jake isn't. But no, I don't think it would make sense for them to fight each other, because their fan base. There's got to be a lot of overlap of fans, so it's like. I think like the whole point of it, it's like if you do like a collab on a song, like you're trying to swap fans. So like a fight, you're getting Logan's audience plus whoever that other person's audience is, both gonna watch, And if it's Logan and Jake have like probably 60% like crossover in fans, it's not bringing a whole lot of different people to watch. But I don't know, interesting. I YouTube boxing it's fun. It's fun. I gotta get ready in case I get in the ring, man. That'd be crazy. Hopefully not anytime soon. But last but not least, we're gonna get into some grade school jams, maybe to end the show here. But no balls. We'll see. I've got some things up my sleeve. I just don't want to say them publicly because it would be I don't want to put myself out there like that quite yet. But WandaVision, if you guys don't know what this is, WandaVision is a TV show. Disney Plus. If you don't have Disney Plus, where the fuck have you been? I guess, though, I will say, if you don't have Disney Plus, I also understand it, because the fucking streaming shit is ridiculous now. They just took The Office away from us. They took, what other show did they take away? Didn't they take something else?
Yeah, I can't remember.
They took some Friends is on Peacock as well. They've got they're fucking Discovery Plus now. Who the fuck is gonna pay for Discovery Plus? Apparently people did already, but it just like blows my mind. And it's like now it's going to be more expensive than cable if you wanted to get everything, which I guess it's cool. You can pick and choose what you want, but whatever. So Disney Plus, right? Disney owns everything, and they own the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you followed this channel even in the slightest, or you've talked to me in real life, you know that I'm a huge nerd when it comes to that. Not necessarily all the comic stuff. I do get into some of that, but much more so the actual like MCU, like will spot every detail in those films because I think those are done really well. And this is the first TV show from Marvel Studios, like that Marvel Studios is actually making, because they had like the Agents of Shield and those like the Punisher and those other things, but they didn't really have like direct creative control over that to tie into the MCU. Okay, so you're caught up. Wanda and Vision died, if spoiler alert, got fucking killed twice in the actual MCU by Thanos. Oh, once by Wanda, once by Thanos. Wanda and Vision are together. He's a symbiote, or not a symbiote, he's a synthezoid he's like a half, not really man. He's a synthetic man, basically, tied to an Infinity Stone. Got destroyed. Thanos snapped, killed everybody, whatever. Wanda is a super powerful witch. She's a Scarlet Witch. She can control reality. This show takes place every episode in a different decades format of sitcoms. So it's like they did the 50s, 60s. Was it the 50s or did it start in the 60s? 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and so on, right?
Last one was 70s.
Yeah, the last one was 70s. I'm excited for 80s. I'm really excited for like the Friends style one, and then as it like gets more into like shit that like I've like, because I think they're gonna do an Office one, like a mockumentary style one, which is gonna be funny. And there's hints as to like what's going on. He's like, why the fuck are they doing this? Right? It's so different from the rest of the MCU. And if you guys haven't watched the other episodes, you don't have to continue listening to this podcast. You don't have to continue watching if you don't want to get into it. But if you want to hear a little bit of spoiler talk, or just like what I think is going to happen, then you can continue listening. So that's your warning. But the show basically showed us by the end of the last episode, third episode at this point we're at. So if you listen to this way in the future and I'm way off, just know I only had 3 episodes of context. 3 episodes in, and we keep getting these little hints that like obviously this sitcom world that we're viewing is not real, and Wanda may be controlling it, is what it looks like now. At first it seemed like maybe they were trapped in it, but then when you kind of see, so Wanda in the second episode, at the end of the second episode, gets pregnant. Her and Vision are like kind of celebrating, excited, and then they hear noise outside. They go outside. They see this dude in a beekeeper costume. He like looks at them, and Wanda just says no. Rewinds reality. That shit doesn't happen. Next episode, we have something. We have that's what we're 3 episodes in, right? And so then her friend Geraldine, who these other people in this simulation or whatever this is, are all concerned about because she doesn't have a home because she's not like from here. Has like a sword agent, shield, like sword fucking emblem. If you don't know what sword is, it's fucking extension of shield. Shield was the people that defended the earth. It's gonna be crazy. If you don't like follow the shit, I'm not the best at explaining all of it, but it's deep. The shit goes deep, man. It goes deep. And so basically, this girl, Geraldine, found a way to get into the simulation, try and break Wanda out of it. Wanda's trying to live this like weird idealized like American lifestyle,
cutter, yeah.
right? But like what you would see on TV, which again would make sense because a lot of European people like grow up watching like American TV, so they probably would thought that, and she grew up in Sokovia, so maybe brainwashed a little bit by Americanism there. And so Geraldine mentions, because Wanda just had the kids at the end of this episode. She just had a kid, and then it ended up being twins, and they didn't know. They're like, oh my god. Now if you follow Marvel Comics at all, you know that Wanda and Vision do have twins in the comics, and one of them is like super fast, like her brother was, and then the other one is like has her powers basically. But we don't know any of that yet. But so she ends up having twins. She's like holding the twins, setting them down, whatever, and she starts singing them a lullaby, and it's like it's a Sokovian lullaby, and she mentions that she was a twin as well. And then Geraldine's like, yo, he was killed by Ultron, like trying to snap her out of like this trance. And then Wanda freaks out, kicks this bitch out of the reality. Vision comes back in. He's like, what's going on? Like, I feel like something's wrong here. What does she do? Looks at him. Snap. Reality fucking just skips that. Vision doesn't know. Why am I going off on this rant right now? Why should you care? Because the show is crazy, and if you start watching now, even with the shit I just told you, you will still be wanting to see more and confused about it. But basically what I think is going to happen is that we're going to find out that Wanda, through Morning Vision, created this false reality, bringing Vision back to life, if maybe he is real. And because he also might be fake, brought him back to life. There's going to be a villain in the show, I'm sure, that's not Wanda. But by the end of the show, I think that she's going to start becoming like the next like villain of the MCU, because she's so powerful too. Like, it makes sense to have someone that strong. Because like, who else? Like, there are people that can fight for sure, but Thanos he's one of the baddest motherfuckers, dude. Like, I'm like nervous to even like see who's good. I know like Galactus is someone that they talk about a lot, because he like just literally feeds off planets, like has to like consume planets' energy to like stay alive. So I know like he would be obviously just bigger, but I don't know how fun he would be as a villain. Thought Thanos was pretty awesome, so I think Wanda would be really interesting too. But yeah, that's just my little burp on why you should go watch WandaVision. I think it's a lot of fun. And if you don't watch it, you should. There's a whole stint in the comics like this, except she changes the whole universe. Yeah, it's the fucking it's the what's it called? The end of it's like the end of Mutants or whatever. I forget the fucking exact name of the comic run. Now I'm gonna get killed. But basically, she goes off the deep end and like removes. So in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they didn't have fucking Fox yet, and Fox owned the X-Men, so they were not able to like bring her in as a mutant. They brought her in as like she got her powers from an Infinity Stone, which still really cool, still can make sense in their story, whatever. But she's a mutant. She has the mutant gene, and she's like Magneto's daughter or whatever in the actual comics. And she basically can control reality, goes off the deep end, freaks out, basically like eliminates all of the fucking other mutants like in the world, and like all the Avengers have to like try and fight her and all this shit. So crazy shit. You should watch it. It's really cool. It's really fun. Even if you do, and here's the thing, I will say like the way that this is like that it's shown, I think they've done a really good job with like Disney Plus has with their original shows and like The Mandalorian and this, where I think even if you weren't following the whole MCU, you would still be able to enjoy this. Like, yeah, you wouldn't know exactly like, oh, who's like how I was explaining Sword and Shield and those things, sure, but it's like you're watching a sitcom that you know is not the reality that these two main characters are living in, really, and it's a mystery they're trying to figure out. And I think just that in and of itself is very entertaining. So even if you haven't watched all the MCU, you should watch it. It's House of M. That's what it is. House of M series. Yes, dude. Steve's on it. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. And yeah, so I that's all I got. You should watch it. You should watch it. WandaVision. It's legit. Now, last thing. Steve was talking. What did he say was his jam? His grade school jam? Domino. By Jessie J. She had the other one too. Price Tag, right? That's her. Is that her? Price Tag? Yeah. It's not about your money.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that was her as well. Or no, was it? I thought it was. I don't fucking know. I think it was her. What was your grade school jam, McKenna? What was what I'm trying to think of mine.
There's so many.
You know, like, okay, I don't know if you guys did this. We did this at my grade school when we all got phones in like 7th grade or 8th grade.
Price Tag is by Jessie J.
It is by okay. When we were in like 7th or 8th grade, we all got phones. Like around that age, everybody had gotten phones, and you could put a signature, like a text signature.
Oh yeah.
And me and my friends would change the shit like every other day to be whatever fucking song lyrics we were listening to. And I think one of my biggest ones, so we had the actual physical album of Lupe Fiasco's Lasers, because my dad went and bought this album at Best Buy for us because I loved The Show Goes On so much. It was the first song I knew every word to, I think. And I remember I sat at my house with like an iPod that I had and had that song, and I would bring that song, like you could load a song on YouTube, and like my Wi-Fi wasn't super good, so like if you just kept rewinding it before it finished all the way, it wouldn't have to like reload again. And I would do that for hours until I learned the lyrics of that song. And so like that song was huge for me. But I'm trying to think, man, there was a ton of like fun grade school dance songs.
Yeah,
at
I
the
just
time.
like looked up like, well, what is like 2010? What were we, like 6th or 7th grade? And all these songs, I'm like, oh my god, I love this song. Like California Girls.
Oh yeah, that's
like,
a classic.
DJ Got Us Falling in Love. Club
Babies
Can't
in
Handle
the-
Me.
Yeah.
Moves Like Jagger. Like all these.
Yeah, dude, holy shit. There was a lot of bops.
Red and Solo. Cooler Than Me.
Cooler Than Me. Dude,
Super Bass.
Yeah. Well, you know the thing with Mike Posner? I'm a huge Mike Posner fan, and if you guys don't listen to his new shit, you should. You should check it out. His new music is amazing. But it was hilarious. We liked Cooler Than Me and Please Don't Go so bad that like we bought his. That's another one. Like we had like 10 or 12 CDs that like we bought new in my life that I remember getting. And then other than that, like my parents had like shit that was like burnt or like MP3 files on their computer or whatever that I would get on like a weird MP3 player or eventually on my iPod and stuff like that. And yeah, that was one. That was one that we got was 30 Minutes to Take Off, I think it was, or 31 Minutes to Take Off or something. Mike Posner, his album with Cooler Than Me on it, and I thought it was the coolest fucking thing ever. And there's still some good songs in there. I think Lil Wayne was on the remix for like Do You Wanna? That's a big song. Like people like really shitted on him as a one-hit wonder, and he had like 4 or 5 good songs on that album. I mean, I think it's like a 15 or 16 song album, so I mean that's not that high of a percentage, but still awesome. And I could be way off. I just know I loved the whole album for me personally. I'm trying to think of some other.
Boom Boom Pow.
Oh,
Black Eyed
God.
Peas.
The Black Eyed Peas.
Justin Bieber was big. I know you didn't like him.
I hated Justin Bieber. I was one of those insecure dudes that like hated Justin Bieber in grade school because all the girls loved him, and you know he's taking away the attention. So you gotta put your hate onto somebody. So it was him, even though we all had
The haircut.
the flippy hair and everything. So, yeah.
That was a good time.
Yeah, it was. So what if you had to pick one? Simple Man Fishing says Ice Ice Baby was his.
Shoot. Let me look for a second.
Not the same time frame as us, but that makes sense though. That would be. There's a sample in that too.
Probably I loved Super Bass or Bottoms Up.
Dude.
If you knew the rap to that song, Nicki Minaj's verse, you were cool.
Dude, Pat had that song on his iPod. He had like 8 songs. I just remember I remember being on like a bus for a basketball game, like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, like those years, and like knowing who had what songs on their iPod, because like I had an iPod for like a year and then it broke. Like it was like handed down. I was super pumped, and it died soon after I got it. So, I remember like knowing like who had what songs, and I'd like share a headphone with somebody, be like, "Yo, Josh, can we listen to that?" Oh, "It Girl" by Jason Derulo.
Yeah.
Josh and I used to listen to that shit all the time, and oh man, it's bad. Yeah. So those are my picks. Those whatever songs I fucking just said.
Yeah.
For grade school jams. Those were the days. Old Winky.
He said, "I am old."
I am old. Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
We're getting old.
We're getting
now.
old though, so I mean those songs are all. I remember when
That
the
was
Black
like
Eyed Peas.
That was over 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah, over 10 years ago. You remember that? I remember when the Black Eyed Peas fucking performed at the Super Bowl. Like I
Yeah.
remember that. I remember being like, fucking my parents, when we owned the pizza place, would have like, we would do like little like couple buck buy-ins to do like these like weekly picks. So like you'd pick all the teams that were going to win that week, and then it was like everybody, whoever had the most right would win
Mm-hmm.
the pot. And for the Super Bowl week, it would be like a bunch of random questions. So it'd be like, what song will the Black Eyed Peas perform? Like, who's gonna get the first down? Who will win the coin toss? Like all these random things, and like whoever got the most right would win. And when I remember like really being invested in like what song are the Black Eyed Peas gonna perform first, and I remember like thinking I could get it. I don't know if I did or didn't, but I remember that happening, and yeah, shout out to the Black Eyed Peas. That it would be cool to get them on the podcast sometime.
Yeah,
those guys are legends. Music was timeless. All right, well, with that all being said, I had a fun little hour here kicking it with you guys, and I appreciate everybody, the back and forth. Steve helping me out there, giving me some confirmation, giving me some history on the comics. I couldn't remember the name of the House of M series. Jake giving me his input on the on earlier on popular music. Appreciate that, as well as Simple Man Fishing, Ice Ice Baby is his pick. Appreciate all that. And I know Kevin jumped in here to say hello for a second, so shout out to Kevin as well. Thank you to those who listened on Spotify. Also, if you guys haven't subscribed already, you should subscribe. You should hang out. We do a lot of fun stuff here, not just the podcast. Also doing some other streams. Also going to be doing some more comedy skits coming up soon. So with all that being said, I want to also say thank you to Kenosha Auto Insurance for sponsoring this episode, and thank you to our patrons who should be on the screen right now. Thank you to these people for supporting the channel. Really helps us out. Really appreciate you guys. If you want to become a patron, support the channel, get a little bit of exclusive content as well, you can go to patreon.com/DarrenRita to do so, and you can do so for as little as $1. So it's really up to you. Gonna be posting some behind the scenes of some videos coming up, as well as behind the songs, so kind of like stories of how and when and why I craft the songs that I do. If you're interested in those, you can go to patreon.com/DarrenRita. Those are all going to be up there very soon. Other than that, did I already say thank you for those who are listening on Spotify? I think I did. This has been the 82nd episode of the Detox Podcast. Jonathan will be on soon, so I know some people were looking forward to him. I know I got some questions from people anonymously, whatever. We will get to those. Your questions will be answered. My questions will be answered. We're going to give him a gift when he comes back. It's all love to Jonathan. I will see you guys next week. We've got my cousin on, my cousin Ian. He will be on next week, and I'll be announcing the rest of the guests for next month, the next couple of days. So stay tuned for that. Appreciate all you guys. I will see you guys next